where we discuss political and social issues that affect us as a society. My name is Emily Miranda, and I'm your host. These are my co-hosts, Amanda Gomez and Angelina Buenaventura. Today we are going to be talking about the political correctness in today's movies. Have you guys heard about the political correctness in today's movies?
Well, yeah, like, if you're talking about, like, things that I've heard on Twitter, like, I see all the time how people always complain that, oh, there's not enough diversity, or they said something that was politically incorrect. But and a thing that I talked about recently with you that really affects me is there's this new movie. It's not really new anymore, but it's recent on Netflix. It's called To the Boys I Loved Before, and they
haven't seen it, but I know about it.
They compare it a lot to another romantic comedy called The Kissing Booth, and basically the problem that they have with it is, well, it's not. The problem is that they rag on The Kissing Booth so much because it's almost an all-white cast, but they praise To All the Boys I've Loved Before because
it's a mixed racial
thing. And I'm not saying that means, oh, it's a bad movie because there's no, like, I personally like the movie, but I feel like there's so much bias with the movie because, okay, this is an Asian lead and they're automatically gonna like it more because it's an Asian lead.
Yeah, I agree there's people out there who purposely push things that have more representation, whether it's like a movie filled with LGBT people or people of color or women or whatever minority you want to consider, but like, and they push it just because, like, trying to prove a point in a way and to push their political agenda. But to be honest, in most cases, I don't see it as a terrible thing because I can understand where those people are coming from, because I feel like just in recent years we're seeing more representation, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think because I can't say the exact percentage, but I know that, like, at least in American film, there's not a lot of Asian actors. There's rarely Asian actors, even in the music industry. Like, name one really popular Asian, like BTS.
Oh, BTS.
And that's Korean. They're just starting, but like, that's the thing. It's just rising.
It's still Asian.
Yeah.
And I feel like I feel like people push things that have representation, even if it's not necessarily great content, because of the representation, because they rarely see that. I mean, for me personally, if I see a movie that has, or a TV show that has a lot of LGBT people, I'm gonna be happy about it because that's representing me, and that makes me really happy. If it's trash, I'll say it's trash, but I'll still push for it.
But you see, not a lot of people are like it. You see, I have no problem with there being more diverse films, but as long as it's good. People are judging it based on the amount of diversity that's in the movie, and I think that that's wrong. I think that whether it's an all-black movie or an all-white movie, or if it's a mix, if it's good, it's good. But don't try to hype it up, because now this is an issue that I'm starting to see. People are, like, basically controlling the movie industry, saying, like, oh, there needs to be more diversity. There needs to be more diversity in TV shows. So they try to push it, but they don't give the character arc that is needed, the substance. Like, you push a gay character into the show, but
they don't really fit
in. And it's not like a good character development, but that's what they want.
Yeah. It's just to have that title, so that way it's like, look, we're all inclusive.
For this to work, for the representation to work, you need good writing behind it. You need good acting behind it for it to properly work and for it to make sense.
But I just don't want a situation where it's the audience that's controlling Hollywood and how they do their movies, because then the movies are not going to be good quality anymore. I want to touch on another example that has to do with the whole, like, diversity thing. So if we look up the two most high-grossing comic superhero films, Black Panther and Infinity Wars, I was looking up the ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. And, there was a lot of, remember, we all remember the hype that was with Black Panther. I'm not saying it was a bad movie. It was a really good movie, but I don't think that it was as amazing as everyone made it out to be. I think it was a very good standard Marvel movie, but everyone was, like, hyping it up because of the all-black cast. Now, how do I know this? Because the audience score for Black Panther and Rotten Tomatoes is lower than Infinity Wars, but the critics score is higher in Black Panther than it is in Infinity Wars. And in the beginning, I remember there was such a problem, like, all the critics for Black Panther, all good. No critics whatsoever But there was this one person that had a little critique, and it wasn't even bad. He was just saying, "Oh, I just think that this is a little bit," and they all
You're
rallied for
racist.
it. Yeah, you're racist. I'm saying, we come to a point where people can't do what they actually want to do because they're scared they're gonna be racist or that they're not diverse enough.
That everyone's gonna have a problem with what you say.
Yeah, and that's my problem with this whole, thing about, there needs to be more diversity or hyping up these movies.
And my problem as well, not even talking about race, but also some people, like, the triggering storylines, like if a movie revolves around rape, if it revolves around some kind of abuse or assault, they're like, some people don't want that, or they think that movie is problematic. But movies are the mirror to our reality.
Yeah.
If we don't see those stories, it's not necessarily that they're pushing that that's a good thing, that rape is a good thing. No, they're telling the story, and I think this political correctness issue, even though I don't fully agree with what you're saying, because I do think that it can sometimes be a good thing or it is needed. It's helping push representation, but then in other aspects, it does become a problem, and it hinders what kind of art people can make.
Yeah.
And it puts restrictions on what you can do. And then see what I'm saying? No, so I think that's a really big problem. It's ruining creativity.
Yes.
Yeah, but I just want to conclude that my issue is not that there's diversity in the movie industry. I think that it's good. My issue is I don't want to get to the point where the audience is controlling what Hollywood can or cannot do. Because, like you said, it ruins creativity.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions, concerns, commentary?
No, not on this. We spoke a lot about this.
Okay, so the next thing we were planning on discussing is the American diet, and how, if you think that the American diet should be governed. For example, there's places in Europe and in some states that they're taking salt off of tables.
Yeah.
So that way they don't have that option.
The government controlling what we eat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, well, what you're talking about with the salt in New York, I believe, is planning on doing that. And they do that because it's like, okay, that's the amount of salt that you get. We don't want we don't want you to have so much sodium. And then in Europe, what they did is there's no artificial flavoring. I believe they took away fructose corn syrup because I heard that it's really bad for you.
Yeah, they're trying to cut down as much as possible.
And here's the issue with that. There's a lot of substance within this argument because it goes into, does the government get to tell us what to do? And that's where I have that's the issue.
Yeah.
Yes, I do believe that our world would be better without artificial flavoring because you could just, if you look at the statistics, if you look at people in America, there's a lot of more unhealthy people in America than there are in Europe. You know what I mean? Because they eat better in Europe. There's not,
there's not as many processed foods.
GMOs.
Yes.
Yeah. And I get that, and that's a good thing, but then it comes across to, okay, when does this end?
Yes.
Okay, we get rid of artificial flavoring. Okay, what if I found out that too much sugar is not bad, and then this is not bad? And believe it or not, I know this sounds crazy, but then this all goes back to okay, if we can control what people can eat, let's see what we can do with other issues.
Yeah.
For example, whether they can own guns or not, whether they can have an abortion or not, let's control this.
Yeah.
And that's my problem. Yes, I do believe that there's a problem in Americans' diet, but that's up to us. It shouldn't be up to the government to tell us what we can or cannot eat.
My whole thing is that it's the person's choice whether they want to eat healthy or not.
Yeah.
High fructose corn syrup exists, sugar exists, salt exists, and you have the choice whether or not you want to eat that.
Yeah.
You have the choice whether you want to eat a whole pizza pie or you want to eat some apples.
That's what America
that's
is.
That taking
America
away that,
revolves
I
around that
understand why people would push for that or maybe want that to happen for them to take away certain things for our health, and because obesity and heart disease and high blood pressure is a growing problem in our country. But the thing is, controlling what people can and cannot eat is not the way to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to work. Exactly what you said. Where does that end? Where, to me, that's very unethical to do.
Yeah.
And what this country is all about, even though it can seem as it would have a good result, it's just the way they go about it that wouldn't work.
Now, this is what I think is unethical. There used to be a time in America where we didn't have GMOs, where we didn't have processed foods, and we used to eat a lot healthier, like back in the 50s. And I know why they use artificial flavoring, because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
You know,
and it allows the food to last
longer. And we remember, we have more people to feed now than we had in the 50s.
Yeah.
You know, so I get why they do it, but I think it's unethical. Just because it's cheaper, you know, doesn't mean that I'm
that
not
you
saying
should do it.
Yeah, I'm not saying let's do what Europe's doing and take away it all, but why can't we go back to what we had before? It's not that it's not legal, it's that we used to make better choices as a country. Whoever is in charge of like whether or not GMOs gets, you know, the processing of foods and stuff, like it was possible.
Yeah.
You know, and I know we have the money for it because the way we fund our stuff in our country is outrageous. Sometimes I think that funding should go somewhere else. I know that we can do it. Like I'm saying, let's not make it a law, because then that goes into the whole argument is, you know, no, we have freedom of choice, and I get that. But why can't we go back to what we had before, where we ate much healthier? Because the truth is, like, there's been studies where GMOs have had, you know, cancerous things going on. Like, you can get cancer. A lot of food nowadays is causing a lot of heart disease and things like that. So my argument isn't let's make it a law, but why can't we just go back to what we had before? Because it was a thing before, and we were a lot healthier.
Fix the problem at the root.
Yeah.
Like the food.
Yeah.
Like literally what they're
The reason why they can't do that is because at the end of the day, someone's making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to do everything to make that money.
Yeah.
You take away the GMOs and all the preservatives and everything that's in it to make it last longer on the shelf, you're losing money.
Yeah.
And all that matters is money. So at the end of the day, they may be trying to control diets to reduce the statistics of the amount of obese people and high blood pressure and all that stuff. But it's all about money at the end of the day. That's all it's going to be.
And that's where the unethical thing comes in, because it's about money.
But if it is about money, okay, and if they stop, let's say they stop making those things, they'll lose money. But then if they take it off, aren't they losing money as well?
Yeah,
they're not
but
buying it.
the reason that it has a longer shelf life is so it's on the shelf longer. So it's like, oh look, it's still there, so let me go get it.
Yeah.
But you take away the stuff that makes it last longer,
Not
they're
only-
gonna have to throw it away.
Not only that, there's, like I said, the artificial flavoring.
Yeah.
People are going to be upset that it doesn't taste as good because there's an addicting.
Yes, I was gonna go into that
flavor.
too. Literally, like there's studies like carbs are addictive.
Yes.
We all know sugar's addictive, and like it's gonna be like people are gonna go through withdrawals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
And not realize what's going
Like
on.
drug addicts, fully. Yeah.
So, you know, the problem with that, it would just have to be about like our choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to make better
And
choices.
maybe even like
because it's
just
there.
nutritional education. If that
Yes.
would be the right wording. Just because most of us can put together and comprehend that eating an orange is healthier than eating a bowl of pasta. Like most of us know that. But some people are ignorant, and some people maybe don't know the extent of, they don't know about GMOs. They don't know about how much salt intake people need or whatever. So
And how that affects you
if
as a
people
person.
learn more about the nutrition they need, or I don't really know much about like nutritionists and the cost, or if insurance covers that, but maybe more affordable nutritionists or whatever. If we put more emphasis on that and they learn, then they can make better choices, and you won't have to take it away. People will just be able to choose either or what they want.
It's very obvious. Like, let's not go to McDonald's. Let's not go.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you like when I eat fast food how my body reacts, and versus when I don't eat fast food.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's an addicting thing, and that's the problem. It's you can't change it, because there would be a whole argument about the government can't control us, and I agree with that completely. So it's just up to the individual to choose whether or not they can or cannot eat, and that's why I don't agree with what New York's doing, because first of all, I don't know if the chef put enough salt. I'm a very salty person. I like a lot of salt in my stuff. And if I want more salt, I want more salt. That's my decision. You know?
Well, some of the things that they're doing in New York, it's not all about, oh, like, I put enough salt. It's kind of a chef's ego thing.
Yeah.
That they don't, like, I season my food.
Yeah.
You don't need salt. There's that. And
Sometimes like asking for salt and pepper is seen as rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like first you have to take I've taken a test before. The table etiquette is you eat the food.
Yeah.
If it's not salted enough, then you season. But if you season before, that's when you're gonna
When
fudge
you
it.
put ketchup all over it, like me. Yeah, it's rude.
There's that, and it's a space thing, and there's, like, at Wendy's, you know, the pre-bought ones?
Yeah.
At supermarkets, the way that they fill them, it's literally $1 a pound.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cheap salt. There's, like, chlorine in it.
Mhm.
There's chlorine in the salt.
Okay.
That's not good for
Yum.
you. Stuff like that. So they've tried to like, reduce that. So they use crazy expensive salt that they put in like little plates or whatever, but you have to throw that salt out, so you're
Yeah.
losing money. So they have the salt shakers, but that becomes a mess and like chef's ego and all that stuff plays into it. Yeah, for the most part, there's different reasons why they do it, but yeah, I understand. On for the last topic. So our last topic for today is the STEM versus arts and how funding is going from arts to STEM programs and Trump's new grant.
It's not a grant. He's doing, and it hasn't been approved yet, but his budget plan is to fund
$200 billion.
fund more to STEM. And it's not even just President Trump thing. I've noticed throughout time that the arts is not as appreciated, especially when STEM came out. I'm not saying that STEM isn't important or it isn't relevant, but I know a lot of people who value arts more than STEM, more than science, more than math. And it's just unfair. I believe that there's like an unbalance. You know, I'm not saying like, okay, let's be real. I get it. There's more jobs when it comes to the STEM fields, but here's STEM and here's the arts.
Yeah.
If we could bring it up to here, it will make our lives so much better. Because there's so many. It's not just like art, like just like
there's
there's
so
so
fancy.
many.
Yes, because then even like. Because you don't necessarily, if we have an art class, even we're getting the effects here at our school. They don't have water, they don't have medium. Like the art teacher, you know, I'm in art this year, and she's like, I'm like, I need your fees. She's, you know, telling us, I need your fees because we need supplies. Like a bunch of our students can only
Science. I've heard the science department doesn't even need fees anymore. They pay for them.
Yeah,
They do. Like, we don't need fees anymore.
I'm not saying that, you know, science, math, technology is not important, because in our growing age there are going to be more technological jobs, and I get that, but ethically speaking, like it's so wrong, because our world would not be what it is without
the arts.
Without creativity.
Without movies, writing, you know, drawing, graphic design, music
like a big one.
I'm sorry, but there's not one person that if you don't like drawing, you at least appreciate music. Like there's not one person that does not like art at all. Like if there was no art, our world, our culture, how people react, you know, drawing is a universal language. You know, that's what brings us together. Music is a universal language. Art brings cultures and people together, and not just the simple as not funding it and kids not getting an art class.
And getting to express themselves in that way. How many people do you know express themselves in math? I'm sad today.
You know,
an algebraic expression. Like it's things like that. Like it's true.
Like, no, it's true.
And you know, by no means are we bashing people who enjoy math, because there's different, you know, left-sided, right-sided. There's different people, but they're both important. You know, just because I don't necessarily enjoy math doesn't mean it's not important, and just because you don't necessarily enjoy drawing doesn't mean it's not important. They're both important, and they both deserve the same attention from our government.
It's just the way that I feel how STEM is like, though that kind of field, it's like, this is the way you need to think. Like, I feel like they have a way, like there's not enough opportunity for you to go outside the spectrum, outside the box, and think creatively. And I feel like that's what schools are doing nowadays. They're not allowing kids to like express themselves, especially because they're not funding art programs. You know, that's the way that kids express themselves. We talked about this, you know, and I think that it's become like an issue. That's just what I think about it.
Yeah. It's concerning.
No, it's very concerning.
To me, you know, as a person who loves movies and music, that's the thing that keeps me going. That's the thing that is in my blood, and not, like I said, doesn't mean that it's as important to everyone, but
everyone has different things, and sometimes STEM just isn't for everyone.
No,
and
but it really isn't.
And that's why they're trying to push for, instead of STEM, it being STEAM. And you guys know that I had this big problem about it, because STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yeah.
I was in the STEM program in elementary, so like that was like a big thing for me. But now I understand why people are pushing for the arts to be pushed, they can be more involved in it, so that way they get equal funding as well.
I get that.
That's exactly.
But it shouldn't have. The arts shouldn't have to be a part of that program the only way for it to get funding.
But the reason
it should be able to stand alone.
They do it as well for funding is because a lot of it ties in, like especially in the engineering and technology field. Because in technology, technology and arts can go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Technology and the arts and engineering go hand in hand, and so does.
But I just don't feel like they're gonna use art in the way that it should be used.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna use
it's still using art to do technology.
Yes.
Like it's to weave around things. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a loophole.
Loophole.
But yeah, like we said, like the whole arts thing has been a real issue for a long time, and I wish that something would be done about it because art, you know, creates creativity. Like that's where it comes
Creates
from.
life.
Yeah.
It saves lives, you know?
And just like not funding it, I think it's a real big problem.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Anything else?
No, I think we're good with
Not
that
today.
Otherwise, we'd be talking for days.
Yeah.
So that's all we have for you today on this issue of the Night Table. Remember, I'm Emily,
I'm Amanda.
I'm Angie.
and we'll see you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.